welcome back to the channel, you all. We're going to do a little bit of fishing today. I ended up with a couple of hours free, so we're going to go ahead and get some fish up in our life. So for those of you new to fishing, I just got myself some of these little worms. I got them out of Walmart. I think they were like $4 for this whole thing. There's probably 20-30 worms in here. And these little buddies. So anyways, what I'm going to go ahead and do with these is I'm going to split this worm in half, because what I want right now are small bluegill. All right, so I split this little worm buddy in half. And yeah, we're gonna get after some bluegill. All right, so for all of you new fisher people out there, here's how you put a worm on a hook. All right, so grasp the worm firmly. You see the little area that I just ended up chopping off from him. You want to run your hook down the length of his body, or her body. I don't really know. I don't know worm business. Leave yourself some hook point, and then leave a little bit of the worm wiggling around right there. All right, bluegill won't be able to resist it. Oh, come on. Oh. All right, perfect. Look at this little guy. No, he just fell off. There we go. All right, so I went ahead and switched out my 8/0 hooks, my circle hooks, with these J hooks. And I think these are like 10s or something. I think something. I've never caught a catfish here, so I don't even know if they're here. But whatever. What else am I going to do with my day, my evening? So let's get it on. I'd like to snag a catfish. All right, when you get these bluegill, like this is its head, what I'm going to do with its head is I'm going to put it into its mouth, and I'm going to come out of its forehead. All right, that gives it a nice little piece of bone there to hang on to, so we're not so likely to lose it. For these other pieces, see the fin up here? That's where his spine is at, or her spine, I guess, as well. I like to run the hook underneath that. Again, leaving yourself plenty of hook point, and putting it underneath the spine. It helps keep the bait on. All right, and then a couple of jingle bells to top it off. All right, and while the catfish rods soak, I'm going to go ahead and put this back out there for some more bluegill. All right, added a little bit of fresh worm on here. So I keep getting these little taps, but I'm not hooking up with anything, so we'll see. That first little guy, that might have been the only one, but we'll see. I'd like to get a few decent sized bluegill that I can fry up tonight. Wish me luck. Man, there's like a ton of these little cottonwood fluffies in the water. They're really just gumming up my line. They clean me off. They must be like really small. This is a small hook though too. So this, technically I should be able to hook up with even the tiny little guys. But whatever, we'll reworm. All right. They stole another worm. So you got this little guy. They're out there, but they're probably really tiny, and I just can't get hooked up with them. Come on, take it. Take it. Eat it. The worm. They just robbed me again. Man, they're like little piranha. All right, we'll figure something else out. I'm gonna see if I have a smaller hook. Let's give it another whirl. I'm gonna go and fish along the bank and stuff, I think. There's raindrops. Dude, absolute thievery. Little punks, man. Like my first cast, I caught that one little bluegill that I used for the catfish bait. And now I can't hook up anything to save myself. It's like the great bluegill in the sky has decided to curse me. Yeah, well, we'll bait up and keep going. Yeah, it's another one of these little boogers. I mean, it's probably, you can't really tell real easy from the GoPro angle lens. But this is a very tiny little fish. Yep. Hey guys, I steal worms. Booger, get out of here. Did you eat it already? Steal my bait, dude. There we go. Oh, taking some drag. All right, let's see what we got. Get out of those weeds. Oh. A little small. Well, I guess, I mean, he's not tiny. Maybe 13, 14 inches. Yeah, this worm is questionable. I think it's definitely expired. Whatever, throw it out there and give it to the bait thieves. Yeah. Bait thieves are at it again, yo. All right. You know what? I'm not going to throw any more back. Now they've upset me. I'm going to put them in my little well, and I'm going to use them as catfish bait this summer. Something's was hitting that line right there. It wasn't a big enough hit to make the bells go off, but you can see the line going slack and then going tight again. It's like it's messing with it. I don't know what's in this lake, you know. There could be like a river monster in here, you know. These aren't cast too far away from shore though. Maybe 50 yards, you know, one that way, one this way. So, but oftentimes, you know, catfish, when you get towards evening, they start trolling the shore looking for all those little tiny bait thieves that I've been dealing with. So we'll see, hopefully. All right, there we go. A little bit more substantive fish here. Yeah, got another little guy here. It's not the biggest. Did I gut hook you? Let it go. All right, there you go. Not the biggest. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to keep this guy. He's way too little. All right, now that's what I'm talking about. That's the size I want, right there. All right, so every fisherman's tackle box should have a pair of these little forceps in there. Just lets you get down in there where the hook is and kind of work it out. Well, there's that. I mean, that would suggest that the knot failed on the hook. I mean, these are eagle claws, so that's on you, eagle claw, because I didn't tie the knots on these hooks. That's too bad too. It felt like a decent fish. And another small guy trying to swallow the hook, trying to volunteer. I could probably quarter this up and use it for catfish bait. Oh, he's bleeding out the gills. Okay, maybe that's what I'll do then. All right. But if a fish is bleeding out the gills, that usually means you've injured him pretty well. Yeah, so I guess we'll go ahead and reel it in. I'm suspicious that the bait on this one is gone. But yeah, I think we're all good to go here. You know, the one of the misconceptions about catfish is that they're just like bottom feeders and that they just troll around looking for like dead, rotting things. And that's absolutely not the case. The best catfish bait you're ever going to find is what their natural food source is. And in lakes and like this and in rivers, catfish are the apex predators of those areas. And so fresh, either live or cut fish that you pull out of that lake or river is going to be your best catfish bait by far. I've had more luck with that. Don't mess with stink baits. Don't mess with little gimmick baits and stuff. Just get yourself, catch a couple little tiny fish out of these lakes, whether you're netting or just catching them on a worm like what I did, and then cut them up and toss them out there. That's the best catfish bait you'll ever find. Yeah, still got that one too. Yeah, I don't know. There's a catfish in this lake. I sure didn't catch one. I like to put them in my front seat, that way I can keep an eye on them. Because you guessed it, the one single time that I threw them in the back, the bucket of fish into the back, I took a turn and it spilled and there was fish lake water all in my car. So from now on we put it in the front seat. All right, well, we made it home. It's starting to rain on us. So I've just got myself a bowl of water. I got myself this little fishing cutting board, got myself a fillet knife, got myself a rag, and then we got ourselves our bucket of fish. So they're just kind of chilling down in there. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these up. I'm not gonna fillet them. For panfish like this, generally they're too small. You get way more meat off of them if you just clean them and fry them as they are. All right, so yeah, I've just got a freezer bag full of these little runt bluegill and heads and tails and every other part of the bluegill that so that I don't waste any of it. So like I'll take that head from earlier and I'll toss this in my freezer bag, and that's all catfish bait. The catfish will love it. For this little guy right here, since I've got him whole, what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna section him up while he's still soft. All right, so a couple of pieces of midsection and then the last little piece of my tail section. And generally you're gonna have good luck with blue catfish or any channel catfish is gonna love that. So, but we're done. I only caught a few fish here today, but yeah, we're all good to go. All right, yeah, so there's the finished product. So we've got our one here. He was kind of medium sized. I just took his head off, gutted him, scaled him, good to go. This next one above it, bigger fish. I went ahead and I gutted it, scaled it, and took the gills out. And I'm gonna cook that one whole. I'll end up taking his eyes out as well. Then we have Mr. Bass up here. And yes, I did measure him. That is a legal bass in the state of Ohio. Scaled him, gutted him, took his eyes out, and pulled his gills out. So I'll be cooking these two whole. And then this guy, I was just kind of showing you how my family always kind of cooked these panfish up growing up. So they're gonna be great. I'm gonna eat all of them. But I have to go run a few errands, so we'll get back to this later. Hey, Well, it's actually the next day, so I didn't get around to cooking these guys last night. So I'm going to cook it now. So we got our fish, all the same. And I'm just going to show you how I do it. I'm actually going to pat these dry. I went through and I cleaned them up real good and, you know, made sure that there was no extras laying around inside the little stomach cavity and all that. And I went ahead and rinsed them off real good. And I'm gonna bake these fish. I'll do a fish fry some other time, but generally for fried fish, I like to do that with like fish fillets. And I obviously didn't fillet these. So I am going to bake them. But what I'll do is I'll take a fish, all right, plop her down. I'm gonna score it. Just a couple little cuts, all right. Do the same thing on the other side. Fin out of the way here. And I'm gonna take some butter. I'm gonna rub that butter all over this fish here. All right, both sides. Well, whatever. I'll get side one first. I'm gonna rub butter all over this. Get that butter down into those scores that you made on the meat. And then I'm just gonna add some salt and pepper to it. Now you can use whatever your favorite seasoning is. If you've got something special, you know, feel free to add any old other seasoning that you want. Garlic. I'm just gonna salt these down with salt and I'm just gonna season these down with salt and pepper, and then from there, yeah, I'm gonna throw it in the pan. I'm gonna put a light little coating of olive oil just so it doesn't stick so badly, and I'm gonna throw it in the pan, and then we're gonna stick it in the oven. All right, so we are all good to go. Yeah, and like I said, all I did was rub some butter, kind of get some down into the little scores that we made on our fish, and then I threw in some salt and pepper. So now what we're gonna do, get this guy out of the way here, is we are gonna bake. 350 is good. So 350 is my oven's default setting when I hit bake. We're gonna cook these at about 350 for probably like 20 minutes, you know, and even if you want, you could like cut that down to like 15 minutes and then turn on the broiler for the last 5 minutes and really kind of brown it and crisp it up real good. So, but it's gonna be good. The only thing I did is I just, outside of what you saw, is I put a little bit of olive oil down on the pan just to help it so that it doesn't stick as much. But everything else is good to go. So hopefully in about, well, I just turned on the oven. It'll probably take it about 10 minutes to get the temperature. Hopefully in about a half an hour, I'll have some fish. All right, we're up to temperature, 350 degrees. So we're gonna go ahead and get these fish on in the oven. And I'm gonna set this for 20 minutes. All right, I did 20 minutes at 350 degrees. Coming along, a little bit of steam there. I'm gonna go ahead and do broil for 5 minutes. All right, well, we are all cooked up, folks. Hang on, let me get my oven mitt. All right, that looks great. All right, I'm gonna give these guys a few minutes to cool down, and then we'll give them a whirl. All right. I'm gonna my head on this thing. Dude, it smells fantastic. Dude, there is nothing better than fresh fish. I don't even know that I need a fork. I'm just gonna go after it. Oh yeah. These little panfish, they're awesome. The tail, best part. It's like eating a piece of bacon. Let me, I want to get at this bass. You know, the thing with panfish is, I don't really know, when you cook them and eat them like fresh, they're so good. If you buy them like in a store, whether it's a catfish or like a trout or something, they get that weird like lake kind of fishy taste to them. So get yourself a little thing of worms, get a fishing, you know, $10, $15 fishing rod at Walmart, and just get outside, try them out. So let's get after this bass though. Bass can get like super fishy tasting. Not that one though. I probably could have given him a little more salt. That's good. As far as the place that I went and that I fished at, that's Prairie Oaks Metro Park, and that was Beaver Lake. And it's a really great. Let me get out of here just so I don't feel like I'm in an interrogation. It's a great little lake to go and fish. There's a lot of tiny little fish in there, the little bait thieves, as you saw. But it's a lot of fun for kids because you're constantly catching little tiny fish. Even if you're setting most of them loose, the kids are always catching fish and they're having a good time usually. I haven't caught a catfish out of there yet. But hopefully one of these times, maybe I'll see what all's out there. There's no motorized boats allowed, but you can take your canoe or your kayak and get on out there, or your skiff. As long as it's not motorized, like you can take it out there and get around, get after it on that little lake. And it's actually a pretty good size. It looks kind of small from some of the footage that you probably saw, but it's actually a decent size little lake. And there's a lot of fish in there. There's a lot of big fish in there. This is just what I caught from the bank. I'm sure there's something bigger hiding in those depths, in the deeper parts of that lake. So I'm gonna have to get a kayak, or I'm gonna have to go out there with a canoe or something at some point and give that a whirl and see if I can drum up something else. But as always, everybody, you know, make sure you're hitting the like, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. I guess this is my first catch, clean and cook. But I have a lot of fun making these videos. I hope you like watching them. And until next time,